Right then, here we are, round one of this build process. So this is everything that comes in the chassis kit. There are a couple of other items that I had to buy separately, but I'll explain those as we go through this video. This didn't come with any instructions, so I'll have to drag up the advert where I bought this from and use the photos as guidance as to where all these bits go. So I'll just get my head around that and then get back to you with a bit more progress. Okay, progress has been made. I've laid everything out here pretty much in line where it attaches to the chassis. So at the front here we've got the front bumper. A little bit concerned this one's a little bit shorter than the others, but that's the front bumper. And then we've got chassis brace which fits between these two parts. Then we've got the skid, transmission, and all the hardware and the pinion for your motor in there. Another set of chassis braces to go there. The rear bumper. We've got our rock sliders to go on. Apart from that, I've had to get separately, but from the same advert, are these links. I went for the SCX-10-2 option, just due to the shape of them, to be fair. A little bit more clearance. Then also, separately but same advert, is the drive shafts, and again, the battery tray. I'm going to start by putting the front bumper together, then adding the chassis braces and the rear bumper, followed by mounting the transmission to the skid, then applying the links, drive shafts and the battery tray. So let's get stuck in. So next it's going to be fitting this skid plate, and what we're going to have to do is attach it through the chassis on the side and also install the links at the same time. So that's what I'll get onto next. The links do come with the rod ends separately, so I'm going to have to wind them on first and then we'll get this slot installed. Right, here we are, halfway through the links. If anyone knows of a tool which can help with this, then please do let me know down in the comments, because this is killing my hands. Now I've just noticed on these longer rod ends that they've got a kink in them, so they're obviously going to line up one way or the other on the axle or coming off the skid plate. So that's something I'm going to have a little look at and play with, and hopefully try and clarify later in the video for you. So there we go, that's the links fitted. A little bit fiddly, especially with the camera in front of me, but we got there in the end. It's a shame the kit didn't come with enough screws long enough there to fit the top links and get the nylock on the back, so probably best to have some spares lying around to resort to. But for now, I think what I'm going to do is open up this transmission, add some grease if I need to, and then mount it to the chassis We'll get the drive shafts on there, and then I think in the next episode we'll get the Hobbywing Fusion out of the box. We'll fit that with the Dumbo RC electronics that I've got as well, and we'll see if we can get a little bit of action going. Okay, so drive shafts next. All you need to make sure when installing these is that they are in phase, which means having your UJs lined up in the same orientation. As you can see there, they're flexing, they're working in unison, as opposed to the shorter one, which is not. We need to now pull this apart, flip this, put it back together, and then we are in phase. Right, so I've just come to fit the sliders here. Now, the spacing only allows you certain placements of this, which gives you actually varying angles. However, my current link locations are here and here, and I want the skid to go here. But as you can see, we're fouling on this bolt here. So, looking on the underside of this, we have recess there, which I assumed the bolt head would fall into that recess, but in fact it doesn't at any point. But my only thoughts are that if I attach the front link to the same hole as the slider there, I could actually combine the two into one bolt. So that's what I'm thinking. The only thing is, I'm then bringing my front top link a lot closer to the front of the chassis, which may well affect the geometry of my front axle. So I won't know about that, I don't think, until it comes to fitting the axles, so let's get on with that. There we are, there's the front portal axle that we've got for this build. Sourced from AliExpress. Links are in the description and pinned comment. I am affiliated with AliExpress, so anything that you click and buy afterwards, I'll get a small commission, which goes straight back into the channel to help create these kind of videos. Here's the rear one. Very chunky, very weighty. But you know, they are of a budget, which is what we're going for. The fronts are offset, or has an offset diff, allowing a little bit more clearance on one side to the other, so you can line up your rocks as to where you want to go. So what I need to do now is open these up, check for grease. Everything feels pretty good at the moment, nice and smooth, no notches or clunks, but I'll open them up anyway. I've got some marine grease which I might just chuck in there, and open up the portal covers, see what it looks like in there, and crack on with that. So I'll catch you in a bit. there we go, that's both axles all greased up. Just a side note, this is the steering link that came with the kit, but in fact the axles come with their own steering link, which is the correct size and shape. So we leave that one in. Now I had to order this separately, servo mount, so that's going to go on next, and then we shall offer up both axles to their links and see if we can get them attached to the chassis. There we go, so that's both axles ready to go onto our chassis. I'll just show you the kinked rod ends that I mentioned. They're actually for the top links. As you can see, they're holding the link away from the chassis there and then directing it down to the centre of the axle. And the other straight ends are for the lower links, because they've got much more of a straight run to where they fit onto the outside of the axle. And I've just lined everything up there just to make sure that they're approximately the same length for when I fit them onto the axles, which is what I'm going to do now. So there we go, that's both axles fitted, but unfortunately it has highlighted an issue with these links. They are not right for this chassis. As you can see, front axle's being held way too far forwards, our drive shaft isn't going to reach, and the rear isn't being held in the correct way at all. So it looks like I'm going to have to find some replacement links and come back to you in the next episode with details of those, followed by installation of the electronics, the Hobbywing Fusion, Dumbo RC radio gear. So I hope to see you then. Thanks for sticking around this long. If you have, please hype, share and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.